Hi, it's Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk Events and Media, and we have just finished our first innovation pitch event here at Breakbulk Europe, and I have one of the contestants with me in the studio, Meet Boy, whose product is Navaris.
Well, thank you for the introduction. Very nice to be here.
Well, it's great to see you.
Thank you. It was great being here.
Good. I'm so glad. So tell us about Navaris. What does it do? What was your pitch?
Yeah, thank you. So we actually pitched that we have a digital solution, which is quite high tech, but also with a personal human touch. So we try to have a high tech and high touch innovation. Our platform helps ship owners with three things. One, getting insights in what their emissions are, and we translate them to financial risk. And while you're knowing your financial risk, you should be enabled by doing something about that risk. So within our platform, the second thing comes along, you can take action, which is really important. So you can buy an emission allowance, for instance, or you can pool for FuelEU, for instance, or you can even buy an insurance for extra emission cost by weather downtime. Within the platform.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
okay.
And the third thing we offer, based on that digital journey, is the human touch, because in most cases it's not that straightforward digital. You just want to have a conversation because it's a human-focused business. It's about relationships. You just want to learn and discuss. So we always have an expert just one phone call away. If it's about fuel strategy, emissions trading, if it's about operating data, we always have an expert available for you, so that within the platform you can not only pick the right button, push the right button, but you can always have a strategic discussion.
Excellent. So who is your target?
Yeah, so we're mainly targeting mid-size, small-size ship owners. Of course, we can work for everybody, but we see that there's a big pain in the market over there because they are mostly family-run businesses. They don't have a huge staff for sustainability regulation, emission trading. The large ones have that already, or they can set it up. So our platform really solves the pain of all this legislation and the administrative burden of that. And we will make sure that by just dealing, we will make sure that they're not dealing with it, but really managing the challenges that come with emission regulation.
Any kind of vessel?
Any kind of vessel which fits into the regulation. So for EU legislation, for instance, now mainly that's about vessels of 5,000 GT and above. But legislation will change and will go beyond or lower than that amount.
Oh, do you think so?
Yeah.
Do we already know that?
Yeah, it's been. We're looking forward to that being changed in a few years.
Okay.
And now it's only for the seagoing vessels, and it will also translate to inland as well within the EU.
That's so interesting. Yeah. Okay. Now, yes, right. So you've designed for within the EU, but do you see that kind of regulatory environment expanding beyond the EU?
Yeah, I definitely see that happening. At this moment, there are large discussions going on at the IMO for a global CO2 schema, which is called IMO Net Zero. And if you're following the news, there are a lot of good intentions, but there's also a lot of pushback. So I'm a bit worried about this because...
Are you?
Yeah, and from an advocate perspective, I always want to say, please have a global mechanism. We're a global business, so why should all these local regulations be in place? But as I understand, it's quite complex in the current geopolitical situation we are in now.
Of course.
And the funny thing about that is making it actually worse, because what now happens is that the EUs are very present with these kind of schemas. Now other countries will also start their schemas because there's money on the table. And they also have committed to Paris alignment goals, so they want to make legislation in place to get to those goals. So UK ETS will follow in a few weeks. Turkey is already preparing for their own ETS, which in my case is not good for my clients because they're shipping all over the world. So then they have to comply with this system, then with that regulation. So that's why actually there's a big market for us. So because we all know all the regulation, we know all the systems, and we can help them deal with that. But for the industry, yeah, it's different.
Right. So with the fragmented industry, you could make versions of your product for the different countries. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. So we are on top of the legislation, so we can build it for every legislation, which is relevant for our clients.
but not ideal for the user.
In the end, I'd like to see it from a helicopter view point of view, and then it's not good to have a global business with also regional legislation, which is fragmented, costs a lot of time and effort. And like I said, our audience is like 60+% is owning just a family-owned fleet. So they don't have these people, so it's costing them very, very lot of time. They're easy to make mistakes. So it's not efficient for the industry, and that makes our industry not as competitive as it should be.
Right, I see that. So would you say that over the next 10 to 20 years that we'll see stricter regulations, or what we see today is what we're going to have?
Oh, that's a good question. So if you are meaning strict, that we are moving towards a carbon net zero industry.
Is that going to hold, do you think? I guess that's maybe the question.
Yeah, it will be there. It's here to stay.
Okay.
It should be as well, as long as a couple of things. One, there should be economic viability in it, because we can all have ambitions, but if it's not economically viable, then it's a penalty, and it's not really helping companies to really deal with what's being asked from them, is translating or transforming their fleet toward greener fueled vessels. So that's one. So there should be this economic lever in it. Second thing is the timing should be okay. Yeah? So there's a lot of things going on in the world right now, and that should be taken into consideration. And I know that postponing things is not the most ideal thing, but you should really carefully look at, is your industry ready from an infrastructure way, but also from an economic way, ready to really adopt this green transition as well. So, and the third thing is really, I also believe that this is the only way to become more green as an industry. If there's not legislation, if you leave it up to the companies, it will not happen.
Goodwill.
It will not happen. It's been proven in other industries before, so it should be. But it should be in the right timing, so that everybody who wants to comply can actually comply.
So if all of those, if those three things were in place, let's say, when do you think everything would be green? We'd be in a net zero world.
Yeah, we're targeting about, that depends on a lot of things. But we should focus, of course, to getting to the goal where we're already having like 2050. But if the geopolitical situation, what happened in the Middle East at the moment, there's a lot of damage done to the infrastructure. So we should take that into account. And if that takes a 5-year or maybe 10-year extra, that should be taken into account. But luckily, I'm not a politician. I don't have to make a decision because that's much more complex. But what I do want to say is that as an industry, you need to stick together, because all these kind of things, they come with pluses and minuses, and mainly with a lot of minuses at this moment. So we all should accept, if you're a large company or a smaller company or a big ship owner or a smaller one, you have to accept some losses, because in the end, the whole greener transition we need to carry as an industry as a whole. So we should take or accept some losses as well along the way. And if everybody does that, then in the end it will be fairly compensated by everybody.
Excellent. Well, Boy, thank you so much for sharing your view with us and really giving us a moment of enlightenment, I think.
Thank you very much for your time, and really appreciate it.
Great.